Good afternoon and welcome back to this short series of clips about the use of Ibota Wax in conjunction with 78 RPMs records and thorn needles. What we have here is a record of a female Italian singer whose name was actually Carla Stella, who was one of the very few who could actually swing. Most female Italian voices had that kind of lyrical quality. She was among the very few who could actually swing. Unluckily, she came to the swing genre a bit too late, perhaps. This record is dated 1942, so just before World War II would begin. And so today she is kind of forgotten. I'm one of the few, we're just a very tiny bunch of people who still admire her. But in any case, here we are. This record is not in such terrible conditions as the one we've seen before. It's actually in pretty good shape, except that it was recorded very, very loud. So it has the typical grayish grooves here, here, and here. In the loud passages, she had a very powerful voice. So again, I've tried to play it many times with thorn needles, but the thorn just can't get through these loud passages. We'll try to put it on a gramophone and see how it performs without being first treated with Ibota Wax. Alright, here we are in front of a mighty HMV 163. I mentioned earlier that Carla Stella was one of the few Italian singers who could actually swing, but in this record she doesn't swing at all. This is a classic tune from Eastern Europe, a very, very melancholic tune, and the reason why we listen to it is just because it contains such loud passages and she sings so loud. We will hear her swing in a next clip perhaps, and also recorded with a much higher fidelity than this clip, which is just filmed with my smartphone. So let's see how the thorn needle will perform with this record. Again, we leave the lid open. We just want to see to which point the thorn can play the record before failing. Well, there's already something going wrong. You see that you can hear that the tip is already gone. Okay, we can quit here. It's clear. It's absolutely clear that it will not get through. I don't know if you can clearly see it by the clip, but this is also one of those cases in which the passage of the thorn needle kind of burns the surface of the record. This is an Italian Odeon record, and it's typical of this record being somewhat burned and being ruined by the passage of the thorn needle. So this is also going to give us the chance to see if the use of the Ibota Wax helps with this. So just as we did on the previous time, we're going to pour some Ibota Wax that looks like a powder on the surface of the record, and then we're going to spread it all over with a polishing cloth. While I do this, it makes me think about the fact that one would like to perhaps insist over the grayish grooves which contain the loudest passages. But on the contrary, it's also important that the needle will reach these points in good conditions. If it would come up to the louder passages already worn out, it would be a disaster, of course. So there is no shortcut. The entire record has to be done well and treated with the Ibota Wax. Alright, here we are with the record on the gramophone. In quick words, what I have done to it, I have treated it with the Ibota Wax, then played with the thorn needle, treated it again with the Ibota Wax, played it again with the thorn needle, and then gave a final pass with a steel needle, which, as I said in the previous clip, for some mysterious reason is very helpful in getting the record done. I don't know why. My friend Andy and I often tell to each other that one of these days we have to inspect the records with a microscope and find out what actually happens over the grooves. However, here we are for the final test of the record. As I said earlier, this is not a swing tune, it's actually a Hungarian song. But in any case, Carla Stella gives a swing treatment to it to some degree, and you will actually be able to hear her swing in some passages. I hope you enjoy it. It's a very melancholic piece, which I find very in tune for a rainy day. It actually is titled Sad Sunday.
M'hai detto che il giorno del dolce ritorno sarà una domenica, ma le domeniche passano e passano, passano i giorni, ma tu non ritorni più. Vuol dire soffrire, morire d'amore per ogni domenica, triste domenica. Passano i giorni, mi sento nel cuore la voce che dice verrà di domenica. Sento che questa domenica l'ultima, dico il tuo nome nell'ultimo battito. Ma tu non senti quel grido d'amore d'un cuore che muore in questa domenica, triste domenica, triste domenica.
Alright, few final words once again. Uh, this record has proven actually to be a tougher one than I thought at first. It took several passes, and the problem didn't actually lay only on the loud passages, but as we saw, there even was a burnout at the beginning of the first grooves. However, at the end of all, if you look at it, it is shiny and polished, and even though I can still see the burnout part at the beginning, well, if I didn't know that it's there, I would actually, I wouldn't be able to tell that it's there. So I assume that the Ibota wax also has a protective effect on records which are subject to being burned out by thorn needles. This is very uncommon. Very few records happen to be damaged while playing. This, by mere coincidence, was one of them. But as you can see, even though at the beginning, after a few turns, the thorn needle was completely eaten out, after being treated with Ibota wax, we could play all through to the end with I would say a fairly good sound. So once again, thank you very much to my friend Andy Briggs, who introduced me to this compound, which really does marvels with worn out records. And I hope you enjoyed this clip, and see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.